Hi all, I'll continue to read. My name is Leon by Kit the Wall. Read chapters 4 to 6. Let's get started. Leon eats his toast sitting on the carpet by the patio doors. It's supposed to be summertime, but the sky is the same color as the garden slabs, dull and grey, like the road to school that cut through to the precinct of the dirty lane between the tower blocks and maisonettes. There is a bundle of wood in one corner of the yard, like someone was going to repair the fence but forgot. Instead, the people in the maisonette next door had mended the hole with barbed wire because of the dog and the argument they had with Leon's dad when he used to live with them. Leon's dad stood in the garden and pointed his finger and said, and Leon can remember it word for word, "If that fucking beast gets into this yard and bites my kid, I'll rip its fucking heart out, alright, Phil?" The dog is called Samson and it has no fur on its chest because of a fight. Instead, it has a bald circle of pink skin, and Leon imagines its little dog heart beating underneath, and his dad grabbing Samson's paws and tearing them apart until the dog howls. Leon knows the sound of a howling dog, and when he sees Samson in next door's garden, he stands and they look at each other through the rusty barbed wire hole. But today Samson isn't in his yard, and Leon sits with his old Action Man and his new Action Man on the back step. Carol bought the new Action Man for Leon's birthday at the beginning of July, and Tina bought the Action Man outfit. His dad sent him a car with some money in it, so Leon bought a better outfit with jackboots and a gun. When it's Christmas, Leon wants 2 more Action Men with army uniforms. That will make 4 altogether, and if he keeps going, he will have a whole Action Man army. Leon hears the doorbell and a man's voice. He picks up his new Action Man, and they both crawl on their elbows along the carpet behind the sofa and look through the gap in the front door. A man is in the doorway letting cold air rush in. He's chunky and tall, wearing a long black leather coat with a suit on underneath, like he's the bad guy from James Bond. And from the way he has his hands in his pockets, he might also have a gun. If he has got a gun and he tries to shoot, Leon will kick the door off the hinges and tag it before he can pull the trigger. Leon knows the moves people make before they shoot, like in westerns when they put their hands out to the side, or if Tina is in, Leon could rush past the man and ask her to come and help, or ring the police. Leon wishes he didn't always need the toilet when he gets excited or frightened. He punches his trousers at the front and squeezes his crotch into the carpet to stop the wee coming out. The man speaks slowly with his head on one side, like his mom is a baby or she's a bit soft. Don't make this into something it ain't, Carol. Carol's crying and saying Tony all the time, but the man isn't listening. I'm married. Good ass. I didn't want another kid, and I don't want another girlfriend. I don't want someone ringing the house all the time, and I don't want someone visiting my friends and making a fuss. Carl's making gulping noises. Didn't I say that already? The man says, still with his head on one side and still with his hand on the invisible gun. Don't pass messages to all my mates needed. It's pissing me off. Just leave it, Carl. Carl starts speaking a few times, but she can't get her breath, so her voice comes out lumpy and wrong. You haven't even laid eyes on him yet, Tony. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to think when you can't even be bothered to buy him a rattle? Come off it, love. You saying this is about money? Carl's head shakes from side to side. No, he continues. This is about the bollocks you'll be telling yourself to cover a couple of months shagging in the back of my car, isn't it? Carl says nothing. I don't know what it is about you, Carl. Even with snot on your face, you're a proper beautiful bird, but you've got a brain like a rusty mortar. The man takes one of his hands out of his pocket and taps the side of his head. Yeah, rusty. As in not working. No MOT. Breaking down. Not getting you from A to B. Worse than that, it's making A. Terrible. Fucking racket. Leon and Carl both hear it at the same time. They hear the man's voice go from soft to hard. Leon can tell Carl hears it because she jerks her head like he slapped her. Leon stands up and holds his Action Man in both hands. Listen, I'm not a bastard, alright? But stop behaving yourself for fuck's sake. No more of these bloody phone calls. Here. The man puts his hands inside his jacket pocket. Take this for the kid and get on with your life. Get yourself a nice boy that sells vacuums or uses tires. Someone that finishes work at 5:30 and takes you to bingo. Alright? It's not me, love. It's just not me. He tries to get something to cool, but instead she runs into the living room, straight past Leon, picks Jake out of his basket, and dashes back to the front door. He's yours, Tony, and you don't even care. Can't you even come in, for pity's sake? Spend some time with him. The man takes a step to the side, and, as he does, he sees Leon. He winks and makes two of his fingers into the barrel of a gun that he points at Action Man and goes, poof! Leon smiles. Then the man puts his head on the side again. Stop it, Carol, he says. There's nothing more to be said. He takes a step back and closes the door. Carol turns around and screams at Leon. What are you doing listening? If he hadn't been sneaking around, he would have come in and spent 2 minutes with his only son. Why are you so fucking nosy, Leon? Eh? You're always creeping around, listening to things. Go to bed and stay there. Leon tiptoes upstairs into the bathroom and tries to be quiet by being on the side of the pan. He doesn't flush and he doesn't wash his hands. He tries to count all the triangles on the wallpaper in his room, but there are too many. He divides them up into dark blue and light blue triangles and makes a pattern in the shape of a tank by squeezing his eyelids together and looking through his eyelashes. Carol used to say sorry when she shouted at him, but she forgets all the time these days, so tomorrow he's going to take some money out of her purse. He'll buy a Twix on his way from school and he'll throw the paper on the ground because he doesn't care. Leon feels bad about smiling at the man that made Carol cry, but if he comes back, maybe they can both have pretend guns and shoot each other. Then again, he hopes that Jake won't go out to be like his dad and say dangerous things in a quiet voice. Leon only smiled because it was polite. If the man comes back, Leon won't smile a second time. He will be on his guard and he'll protect Carl and Jake, and then he won't get shot at. The next day, his mom gets up early in the morning and says everything is going to be different. She says she's really sorry and she's going to try harder, so she makes a massive breakfast with pancakes and syrup like she saw in our recipe book. It doesn't taste nice and she starts crying when Leon doesn't eat it all. She mashes one up with some milk for Jake, but as soon as she puts it in his mouth, he's sick all over his top. She makes Leon promise to go to school so he can be clever and not have a life like she has. I want better for my boys, she says when Leon's hugging her on the settee. I want you both to have lovely lives and lots of beautiful things. I want you to live in a posh house with a proper garden and want you to always love each other. I don't want any arguments. I'm so tired of arguments. And I want you to get out of this shithole. Get right out of it as far as you can. Don't look back. So you had to learn things and get an education. Don't be like me or your dad. You're so clever, Leo. Promise me something, sweetheart? Yes, Mom. Look after him and look after yourself. Get something more out of your life. Okay, Mom. Both of you. Do it for both of you. She squeezes Leo so tight he has to push her away a little bit because he can't breathe. I'm going up now, love. Look after Jake for me. Some days Leon doesn't go to school at all, just stays at home with Jake while their mom sleeps. But when he does go, Leon has to wake his mom up before he leaves to remind her about Jake. Sometimes she tells him to go away, and he spends the whole day thinking about Jake's dinner or Jake's nap time. But other times, like when he's playing football or something, he forgets all about what's happening at home. Like when there was a new boy at school, and the teacher told Leon to look after him at lunchtime. The new boy was much smaller than Leon and looked scared. Leon told him where everything was, and then they had to queue up for their dinner. The new boy was called Adam, and he had long hair. He said his dad was a teacher at another school. He said he had a dog. What sort of dog? Said Leon. Is it an Alsatian or a Doberman? It's a poodle, he said. It's my mom's. She calls it Candy. Oh, said Leon. A poodle. Yeah, but I trained it to bite people. Really? Yeah, I could bring it into school and get it to bite everyone in the class. Could you? Yeah, if I wanted. They spent the whole afternoon telling each other about training dogs and how sharp dogs' teeth were and which dog was the best. Poodles didn't come into the equation. On the way home, Leon began to think about asking Kuro for a dog that he could train. He could train it to bite Jake's dad. He could train it to bite the old lady on the next landing that kept looking at him and shaking her head. He could train it to bite Tina's boyfriend and the postman. Then when Jake got older, they could get famous for training dogs. The best dog trainers in the world. Chapter 5. As soon as the summer holidays start, things get jangled up at home. Leon can go to bed whenever he wants, and sometimes he can even go to sleep on the sofa because his mom doesn't notice. He can eat whatever he wants, but if there's nothing in the fridge and nothing in the cupboard, it doesn't really count. He has to look after Jake nearly every day, and Cole keeps crying and going to the phone box, leaving Leon in charge, and once when he picked Jake up, he wiggled so much that he fell on the carpet. He had stopped crying by the time Cole came back, but it made Leon feel angry with her, and he saw some more coins out of her purse. But he couldn't have taken all the money because she doesn't know what's in there. Early in the morning, just when it's getting light, Jake starts crying and Leon gets up with him. His nappy is always heavy and wet, but as soon as Leon changes it, Jake starts smiling and laughing. Jake always wants the same thing for breakfast, and now Leon has a good system. It took him a few weeks to get it just right, but now he could tell anyone what to do to look after a baby in the mornings. Change the nappy. Remember to use the white cream, or by the second morning the baby's bum is sore. Feed the baby, but be careful going downstairs because babies move around your arms and sometimes they're heavy. If you haven't made the breakfast bottle quickly enough, the baby will start crying again. Put 6 spoons of baby milk powder in a bottle and fill it with warm water from the kettle. You better taste it to see if it's not too hot. Sometimes if the baby is really hungry, you have to mix in some extra powder and a spoon of sugar. The worst thing is when the baby is sick. That makes a lot of mess and it can take ages to tidy up. Even Carol doesn't know about the best routine for Jake, and sometimes she forgets about him when he's in a high chair and Leon has to take him out. She goes into bed all the time, so Leon has to do everything. When he goes into her room, she's always hidden under the blankets with her tablets next to the bed. Some in a white bottle and then pink ones that you have to press out of a silver card. He pressed one out once. It looked like a sweet, but after he licked it, he threw it down the toilet. Then, other times, Carol goes out and leaves him to watch the telly. She puts Jake in a pushchair and takes him out for hours, and when she comes back, she is tired and Jake is crying. She leaves the pushchair in the hall and just goes upstairs, talking to herself. Leon has to unfasten Jake's straps and take his baby suit off and feed him, and sometimes all the things he has to do make Leon so tired and angry. It seems like Jake's been crying for days. If he doesn't stop, Leon will have to go and get some money from Tina. If Tina isn't in, then he will have to go to the lady next door who doesn't like him. He sort of looked in Carol's purse, but there isn't enough to buy some food for Jake, some nappies for Jake, and some sweets for himself. There's no money at all, just some receipts, an old photograph, and Leary. Leon's tipped the whole purse upside down. He's looked between the cushions in the sofa, and in the drawers in the kitchen, and in the pockets of Carol's coat, and everywhere else he could think of. Jake isn't even wearing a nappy anymore because it smells terrible and all the new nappies have gone. He had to sit Jake on a towel in his basket and put some toys in with him, but he can get out now and roll all over the place, and looking after Jake is getting much too hard. And they're both hungry all the time these days. Jake has been crying all morning, and Carol won't do anything. Every morning it's Leon who has to go and get Jake and pick him up and move him around a bit until he stops crying. The way his mom misbehaving, you would think she was deaf. Leon has shaken her, and he has begged her, and he has pulled at her arms, but nothing happens. Even though she's awake, she won't talk or eat, and she won't get up. That was yesterday, and the day before yesterday, and now today. Leon has got to do something. He goes upstairs again into her bedroom. Pink light sifts through the thin curtains, and the air feels heavy and quiet, like someone's holding their breath. One of Cole's hands lies on the sheet. Leon touches it with the tip of one finger. She doesn't move, but her paper lips sparkle over and over like she's a goldfish in a bowl. Mom? Carol turns her head to the wall. I'm hungry, Mom. He realizes that the whole room smells like Jake's nappy and that his mom has wet the bed again. He opens the window, but only a little crack in case Carol gets cold. If Leon can go to Tina and get some money, then nobody needs to know that Carol is ill again. Leon can make her better if someone will give him some money. The last time things were like this, he had to go and live with a lady and her husband and the cat, and they kept taking him to church and making him sit still, and it was horrible. So he will look after Carol and Jake. He will make her some tea and toast and help her sit up and take her tablets, and he will put a clean sheet on her bed, and he will pretend. Jake starts crying downstairs, so Leon goes down and gives him a kiss. You stay here and play with your toys. Stop crying, Jake. He leaves the door on the latch and goes upstairs to the next landing. He rings Tina's bell. "All right, Slow," she says. "My mom said, have you got any money?" Tina looks along the landing and then over the railings. "Where is she, Leon?" "She's asleep, but she wants me to go to the shop." "Have you been to school today?" "No, school broke up last week." She said, "Have you got a pound?" Tina keeps looking at him and then she goes into her flat. She comes back with Wobbly Bobby and her handbag and closes the door. I'll pop down and see her. Leon follows her and hopes his mom is awake and dressed and hopes that Jake has stopped crying. But when Tina walks through the door and he hears the sound she makes, he knows she will find everything out. She walks into the kitchen and shakes her head. "Christ," she says. She walks into the sitting room and puts her hand into her mouth. She looks at how untidy Leon has been and how he has sat in front of the telly and eaten his cereal by putting his hand in a box. How he hasn't put Jake's nappies in the bin. How he should have opened the window like Tina does in her house and made everywhere smell of baby lotion. Leon sees what Tina sees. Why didn't he tidy up before he asked her for any money? Tina goes back into the hall. "Carol, Carol," she calls. She puts Bobby down in Jake's playpen and then runs up the stairs. Leon follows. Bloody hell. Tina starts shaking Carol and pulling her around. "Cal, Cal." She looks at Leon. "Has she taken something? How long has she been like this? Cal?" Suddenly Carol starts moaning. "Leave me alone. Leave me alone." Tina starts making little stabs at Carol's face, but she won't fight back or even open her eyes. Leon knows because he's been trying for days. Tina takes Leon's hand and backs out of the room. All the time she's shaking her head and saying, "Christ" or "God." They go down the stairs together. Tina picks Jake out of his basket and wraps a towel around him. She picks Bobby up as well. She's getting two babies and she's out of breath. "Get my bag, Leon. Come with me." They go to the phone box at the end of the road and she makes Leon hold Jake while he stands outside. The door won't shut properly so he hears everything. "Ambulance, I think," she says. Then she waits for a minute and says his mom's address. Then she says they will need to get social services as well. She puts the phone down and then says a number to herself over and over while she's dialing. "Social services," she says. Tina tries to squeeze the door shut but it won't close. "There's two children that's been here for a couple of days at least." "Yes." "Yes." "No, it's been going on a while." "Yes." "An ambulance is coming." "Yes, on the next floor up, 164E upstairs." "I don't know, 9 and 4 or 5 months, something like that." "Carol Waycroft." "Yes." "Leon and Jake." "Jake's the baby." "I don't know." "No." "Terrible." "I don't know." She listens for ages and then she says, "I'll take them to my house but they can't stay." "No, sorry." "Can't you just send someone around?" "When?" "Christ. Alright, just one night then. I haven't got a phone." "No." "Yeah. 164E first landing. Yeah. I'll be there." As she comes out, she's breathing like she's been running. "Can you carry him, Leon?" she asks. "If he walks slow." Bobby is crying and Jake keeps screaming, but Leon keeps up with Tina, who doesn't walk slowly after all. When they get back to Tina's, she puts Jake straight in the bath with Bobby and dresses him in Bobby's clothes. He's still crying, but then she gives him a bottle and halfway through he falls asleep. Tina keeps saying she's sorry and she has no choice. An ambulance lady comes to the door and Tina lets her in. "We got someone downstairs with Mom. You got the children here with you?" "They're both alright," she says, pointing to Jake, who is fast asleep, and then to Leon, who's next to her. "He's 9 and Jake is about 4 months old. I fed the baby and I was just about to feed Leon. I think he's hungry, aren't you, love?" Leon wipes his face. "And a bit worried about your mom, eh?" says the ambulance lady. She squats down in front of Leon and squeezes his arm, then his other arm. "You've been hungry for a little while, I bet." Leon shakes his head. "No, I'm full." When they start whispering about his mom, he wants to tell them that she's kind and nice, but they're not listening. The ambulance lady goes over to Jake, and when she sees he's asleep, she says she's going back downstairs. After she leaves, Tina makes him beans on toast and he gets into the bath. He puts one of Tina's t-shirts on and he has some crisps in front of the television. The Dukes of Hazzard is on, but halfway through, Jake starts crying again, and Tina puts him on Leon's lap so he can give him a bottle. "You're a good kid, Leon," she says. "You don't deserve this." "Where's my mom?" he asks. "She's been taken to the hospital, love. You could see she wasn't well. You should have come and told me. She was like this last week, wasn't she? I could see it in her face when she walked past me. How long's it been going on?" Leon doesn't know. "She's really bad this time, love. Worse than I've ever seen. I don't know what will happen, but Leon does. The social workers don't come until the next evening. There are two of them. One has black hair with white underneath like a zebra. They all stay in the kitchen for ages talking about his mom. He can hear Tina telling them everything. Weeks and weeks since before the baby was born, if I think about it now. She was depressed the first time with Leon, but I never knew her then. I mean, he's been in care a couple of times. She seemed alright before the baby, but she's just, not right. I mean, some of the things she does, and she dumps the kids at the drop of a hat, with me mostly, and she kept leaving Leon to look after the baby, 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there, and he's been missing school. No one says anything, and then Tina starts all over again, saying the same things, saying bad things about Carol and pretending that Leon wasn't looking after Jake properly. "She's just got worse without me paying attention," says Tina. "We had a bit of a row a few weeks back, 'cause she keeps borrowing money. She never pays it back either. And I've had those two kids more times than I can count. They're lovely kids, but still, and I just said, enough's enough. She had a right to go at me. So I just backed off and I haven't kept a close eye. I used to, but I got my own family to figure out. It all got out of hand when the baby's dad finished with her. Tony, I think he's called. Don't know his second name. She took it bad. I mean, really bad." "What about Leon's father? Is he around?" "Him? Byron? Not him. He's done a runner. Carl said he was supposed to go to court and he couldn't face it. But even when he was around, he wasn't much use. He'd come and go as he pleased. He'd be with her for a couple of weeks and then he'd be off. Then he was inside for a bit, and as soon as he was out, they were arguing all the time. And drinking. Both of them drank. And anyway, when she got pregnant by Tony, it all just came to a head." Leon sees that Tina has left her handbag on the sofa. He leaves the door open but gets her purse and takes out 50 pence. He puts it in his trousers and puts everything back where it was. He tiptoes back to the door of the kitchen. "Like I said, I really tried. I've had them both here all along for months and, much as I want to help, it's just got to stop. I mean, she's had a proper breakdown, hasn't she?" Leon opens the door wide. They all look at him. Social workers have two pretend faces. Pretend happy and pretend sad. They're not supposed to get angry, so they make angry into sad. This time they're pretending to care about him and Jake and his mom. "I want to get my things," he says. They all look at each other. The zebra takes him down to his flat. Tina has given her the key. She looks around the kitchen and opens the fridge. She opens the back door and sees all the nappies that Leon has thrown outside. She walks slowly upstairs and helps him pack some clothes for Jake and some clothes for himself, but he can only take one bag of toys. "Whatever you can take in that rucksack is okay," she says. "You can come back for the rest another day." Leon has to leave one of his action men because he has to make some space for Jake's toys and everything won't fit into his red rucksack. When the zebra has filled the suitcase, they go back to Tina's. She picks Jake up and wraps him in a blanket. Tina tries to give Leon a kiss. "You'll be alright, Leon. I'm so sorry, love." She bends down and he turns his face into the wall. He holds his rucksack in front of him. He can hear her sniffling and crying, and he thinks of her 50 pence in his pocket and his face he will buy. On the drive to where the foster lady lives, the zebra talks all the time, but Leon is sitting in the back next to Jake with his rucksack on his lap, and he pretends he can't hear. Jake has fallen asleep in a special baby car seat, and Leon's glad he didn't hear Tina lying and the zebra going on and on about asking him questions and trying to make him say bad things about his mom. Chapter 6. In the morning, Leon opens his eyes and listens. He can't hear Jake crying. Then he remembers. He's in the foster lady's home. Last night when they arrived in the zebra, the lady came to the door, took Jake, and kissed him, even though she'd never met him before. Bless, she said. The lady steered Leon towards a telly room and told him to sit down. You can watch what you love, she said, but there was only the news on. He could hear the zebra in the kitchen, and even though half of him didn't want to, he had to listen. The zebra was talking in a loud whisper. He's been the carer. Baby and mother, yes, both of them. Malnourished. Failure to thrive. Drug dependency. Ambulance. All the time the lady was saying, and I see, and the zebra kept going on and on. Breakdown. Emergency placement. Court order. Squalor. State of the place. And then, right in the middle of a sentence, the lady told the zebra to go home. He heard the front door open and heard her saying, Yep, Judy, yeah, I've got it. Off you go. Yep, you can do all that tomorrow. Alright, yes, off you go. Bye. The lady had given him a jammy Dodger biscuit from a golden tin and asked him if he wanted another one, so Leon had 3 altogether with some hot chocolate, and when he went to bed, he didn't even dream. The smell of breakfast fills Leon's nose and cramps his belly. He doesn't want to make any noise because Jake is still asleep. He must be asleep because he's not crying. Leon is in a soft, warm bed, and there are black and white footballs on his quilt. Wooden aeroplanes hang off the ceiling and turn in a cool breeze from the open window. Even the curtains have got a football pattern on them. The wallpaper is made up of lots of soldiers in red army jackets with black rifles, and, best of all, Jake isn't crying. The smell of food is so strong it pulls Leon downstairs. You can hear the lady singing a nursery song, and Jake is laughing. He can hear plates and knives and forks clattering against each other. He tiptoes to the door of the kitchen and listens outside, but the lady must have heard him. In you come, sleepyhead. Bacon sarnie with red sauce. All you can eat. Leon sits at the yellow kitchen table, and the lady puts a massive bacon sandwich on the plate and cuts it in half. Then she plunks the red sauce bottle down next to him and says, Tuck in, sweetheart. Jake is wearing a bib with a dinosaur on it. He looks clean and fresh, sitting in a high chair by the window, and the lady goes over to him and starts pointing at things in the front garden. Bird, she says. Bird. Lovely little bird. She keeps talking to Jake, and he's trying to talk back so Leon can eat his sandwich in peace. It tastes like the best thing in the world, with soft bread and lots of meat and the sauce that drips on the plate, and he's got an enormous glass of orange juice which tastes sweeter than Coke, and he has a bite of the salty meat and a swig of the sweet orange juice, and he keeps doing it until everything is gone. Then the lady just puts another sandwich on his plate. Growing boy like you. Bet you can't eat all of that. But Leon does, with another glass of orange juice, though during the second sandwich he pays attention to the lady and what she's saying. He's waiting for her to ask questions about his mom. Now, not everyone will be able to see the resemblance between you two, she says, folding her arms over her big chest. But Maureen can. She smiles and points to her forehead. That's me, Maureen, and I've got an eye for kids. Leon licks the sauce off his fingers and looks around. Maureen's house smells of sweat and toast, and when she stands near the kitchen window with the sun behind her, her fuzzy red hairstyle looks like a flaming halo. She's got arms like a boxer and a massive belly like Father Christmas. On the kitchen wall there is a giant wooden spoon and it says Best Mom, and next to that there is a painting of Jesus with all his disciples, and he's showing them the blood on his hands. So you're mine, says Maureen, taking his plate and filling his glass up with orange juice again. Leon nods. And he's nearly 5 months. Leon nods. And you're the quiet one. Yes, but he's the boss. She smiles so Leon smiles back. I get a picture, she says, but I bet he's had you up and down like a yo-yo. He'd be giving you orders if he could speak Monohi. She goes over to Jake and gives him a plastic mixing spoon. Jake starts banging its way on his high chair. Leon and Maureen put their hands over their ears. Have I made a mistake? She says, and Leon laughs. So what's his routine then? She asks, and she sits down opposite him at the yellow table. She picks up a pad and a pencil and writes Jake at the top of the page. You tell me what he likes and doesn't like so I don't get him wrong. He gets up too early, says Leon. She writes it down. And if I'm having something to eat and he wants it, he has to have a bit, but only if it's good for him because sometimes it's chewing gum. No chewing gum. She writes it down. He likes the pink pamphlet, but he doesn't understand it. But I do, so I tell him what's going on. Pink pamphlet with Leon, she says, and writes it down. When you put his top on, if he gets stuck, he goes mad and starts crying, and then you can't get it on him at all, so you have to wait until he's forgotten. But sometimes, if you have to put him in a pram, you can't wait, so you have to just. Leon doesn't know if he should tell her about the times when he loses his temper with Jake and shouts at him. You have to just tell him to be quiet. Yes, says Leon. I get the picture, she says as she writes down pest. Leon tells her everything. How if you want Jake to go asleep, you have to keep stroking his head or the side of his cheek. How Jake puts everything in his mouth and you have to keep both your eyes on him all the time, so sometimes you can't even watch the telly. And sometimes it's too hard. Imagine when Maureen has 2 pages of writing, she sits back in the chair. Thanks, love. You've been really helpful. I might ask you 1 or 2 things as we go along, but I think I've got the basics. Now what I'd like you to do is leave me to see if I can manage with his nibs while you go off and have a bath. She takes Jake out of his high chair and kisses him again. What a pair of eyes. She turns Jake around so Leon can see his face. He wants to say thank you, Leon, love. Thank you for looking after me so well. That's what he'd say if he could speak. They all go upstairs together and Maureen pours some blue stuff in the bath and the bubbles come right up to the top, so fluffy Leon can't even see the water. He sits in the bath listening to Jake shouting and laughing and Maureen telling him the names of all the things they can see.